My fellow students, faculty, administrators, family, friends, to everyone who has ever called Embry-Riddle home, there is a quiet that comes at the end of something you have loved. Not silence, exactly. Something closer to gratitude with the volume turned down. That is the quiet I'm standing in tonight. 2 years ago, I walked into the SGA office for the first time as your president, and now I'll tell you the truth. I sat down in this chair, looked around the room, and thought to myself, whose office is this, and why did they let me in? Somewhere along the way, I think I figured it out. Or maybe I just got better at faking it. I will let you be the judge. Tonight is the last time I'm addressing you as your SGA president. When the moment came to decide whether to run for a second year, I did not hesitate for even 1 second. Not because I needed it, not because I wanted the title, but because somewhere along the way, this stopped being a job and became a calling. And you do not walk away from a calling halfway through. So I stayed 24 months, and in those 24 months, not one day passed without me asking the same question when I woke up. What is best for the students? Some days I got the answer right, some days I did not. But the question never stopped, and that's what I will carry out of this office more than anything else. I want to tell you about a student named Nikolai Diaz, whose story inspired me to share it with you tonight. Nikolai is now a junior. At our homecoming concert this year, somewhere between the lights and the crowd and the sound of every student in this university losing their minds at the same time, Nikolai got pulled up on stage with Florida, wearing Florida's own leather vest and own sunglasses. Picture it, a third-year student, 20 years old, on stage in front of thousands of his peers, dressed like a hip-hop legend, singing along with one of the most listened to artists of our generation, having one of the best nights in his life. A night he'll remember forever. A night that more than anything made him feel happy. I later asked Nikolai what that night had meant to him. I wanted to share with you tonight what he told me. In his own words, he says, "Getting pulled up on stage changed my whole experience in a way that I will never forget. On a stage in front of a sea of people, I felt like a younger version of myself, imagining every moment while singing and dancing on my living room couch. It's moments like this that let me be carefree and on top of the world, and in moments like this that I will always remember every time I hear the song I was on stage for." That moment is why I did this job. Not the budgets, not the meetings, not the headlines, the moments, the Nikolais. The student who walks into a late night studies at 1 in the morning, exhausted and hungry and 1 grade away from giving up, and finds people who thought of them who make them feel seen. The student who leaves the car at home and catches our shuttle so another student can have the parking spot. The senior who is about to walk across the stage next week, knowing that somebody, somewhere in this university, was fighting for them while they slept. Because at the end of the day, that is what this work is about. Make your students happy. Make them feel seen. And in the doing of it, build the kind of memories that come back to them 10, 20, 50 years from now and remind them that their student experience was worth something. That is the work. That has always been the work and nothing else. Now, let us be honest with each other. SGA is no Superman. We cannot solve every problem in this university, and any president who tells you otherwise is selling you something. But what we can do every single day is find areas to improve, where students are quietly waiting for somebody to notice, and we can move. In the small things, in the big things, and in all things in between, we may not be Superman, but we can make this place better, and we did. When I took office, I made you a promise. Every student at Embry-Riddle has a seat at the table. Not a symbolic one, a real one. That is why we created the ROTC Senator. Cadets answer the call to service throughout their entire collegiate lives. That's why we created the Student Athlete Senator, where student athletes carry the name of this university across stadiums, airfields, and finish lines. They train before the sun comes up and study after it goes down. They build a kind of resilience that the rest of us would not understand unless we had stood in their shoes. And that's why I walked into rooms most presidents do not. The radio club with a few members and an old transmitter and a passion I've rarely seen anywhere else on campus. The rocket team attempting their shot to break collegiate records. The mechanical engineering organizations carrying our name into racetracks. The cultural organizations, the honor societies, the faith groups. Every one of those rooms is part of this university. And every one of them deserves the president who showed up. Not for the photo, for the listen, for the support a student needs when their mission turns critical and the last mile is the hardest one, for the feedback that makes a student government better than it was the day before. Because here's what I learned. The strength of a student body is not measured by its biggest organization. It is measured by whether the smallest ones feel seen and whether every one of them feels supported. A university that only listens to its loudest voices is not a community. It is a megaphone. And we're not a megaphone. We are Embry-Riddle. In this moment, I have no other option but to be candid with you. You taught me more than I ever taught you. I want to be clear about that. You taught me that being heard matters more than being right. You taught me that the loudest voices in the room is rarely the most important one. And you taught me that the students at this university are some of the brightest, hungriest, most relentless human beings I've ever met. Any leader lucky enough to serve you should consider it the honor of a lifetime. Because I did, I do, and I always will. I want to say something now to anyone in this room who has ever wanted to lead, in anything, anywhere. Leadership is not a title. It is not a chair. It is not a nameplate on a door. Leadership is what you choose to do when nobody's asking you to do it, and nobody will notice if you did not. I came into this office with a phrase I try to live by every single day. Service before self. It was not a slogan, it was a covenant. A covenant I made with every student in this university, whether you voted for me or not, whether you liked me or not, whether you ever knew my name or not, you were the trust. You were the responsibility, and you were the reason. And to those of you who disagree with me, I want to say something I mean with every part of me. Thank you. Thank you for pushing back. Thank you for caring enough to fight. To the people who challenge a leader are not the enemies of progress. They are sharpest editors. You made me better. You made this office better. You made the work better, and whether you stood with me or against me, I represented you too. Every single one of you as one student body. That was the deal, and I never broke it. I'm not going to sit here and read you the list of accomplishments, because you lived them. You rode our shuttles. You danced at the homecoming concert. You laughed at the comedy show. You studied through the late night studies. You felt the love on Valentine's Day. You walked into spaces that finally felt like they were built for you. You watched an SGA that was once just a name become something you can actually feel. But none of them was mine, not a piece of it. It belonged to a team that worked harder than anyone in this room will ever know. To all SGA officials who carried this work alongside of me, and especially to the President's Cabinet, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. To Summer Hernandez, to Pari Makar, to MC Solar, to Logan Price, to our SGA officials in our fellow divisions, to Katie McVery, to Austin Quayam, to Emily Ilmer, to the SGA staff who showed up early, stayed late, and never once asked for credit, to the university administrators and faculty who treated the student voice like it was worth something listening to, because it was, to every partner across this institution who said yes when they could have said no. I did not build a single thing alone, because we did, and we is the only word that has ever truly mattered in this office. Here's the truth about jobs like this one. We're temporary occupants of this office, not owners. We're passing through. The chair I'm about to leave will hold somebody else next week, and after them, someone else, and after them, someone else, for as long as Embry-Riddle is Embry-Riddle. That is not a sad thing. That is actually a beautiful thing. It means that the mission is bigger than any of us. It means that the work continues. It means that the student experience does not belong to a president. It belongs to the student body, always has and always will. To the incoming administration and to every future leader who will one day sit in this chair, the only piece of advice that I will give you is this. Your success is the student body's success. You will find your own way, and you should, and I wish you everything in this work you're about to take on, and I count it a blessing that you have been chosen to serve them. When the easy path and the right path part ways, take the right one and take it without an apology. When somebody tells you that the students do not care, look harder. They do. They always do. And on the days when this work feels too heavy, when the criticism is too loud and the gratitude is quiet, remember why you took the chair. The chair was never the point. The students were. The student experience was. I want to leave you with this. We're standing in the centennial year of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. 100 years. 66 years of the Student Government Association. Think about that for a moment. A century of students who walked these grounds, who chased something bigger than themselves, who built this place into what it is tonight. We did not start this story. We will not finish it. But for a brief, bright moment, we got to write a chapter of it together. And what a chapter it has been. To the students who supported me, you were the wind that carried me. To the students who challenged me, you were the compass that corrected me. To every single one of you, supporter or critic, friend or stranger, serving as your president was the greatest honor of my collegiate life. And I do not say that lightly. I say it because it's the truest thing I've ever said into a microphone. The best is not behind us. The best is not in this office. The best is in you and what you will build and what you fight for and what you refuse to accept in the corners of this campus and in this world, what you're about to set on fire with everything you have. I cannot wait to see it. So I'm not going to say goodbye tonight. The word is too small for what this has been. I'm going to say what we have always said in this office when we shut the lights off after a long night, knowing we'll be back in the morning. I will see you later. Ender, your SGA president, signing off in the centennial year of this greatest, or the greatest aeronautical university on earth. God bless Embry-Riddle. God bless our fellow students who make it what it is. God bless every single one of you. It has been an honor. Thank you.